Thanks for clicking on to the Saturday evening edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Hope everybody is enjoying their weekend thus far. Of course, looking at the northeastern half of the United States, mild up until recent times across the northeast, but we've seen the first 1 inch plus snowfall in New York City of the season so far. And you have to go back to 2006, 2007 for the last time that had such a late 1 inch plus snowfall. In fact, it was just under 6 inches fell over the past 24 hours in the Central Park recording site, and it's a chilly day there as well. Temperatures probably staying below freezing throughout the course of today. But the reason why I'm showing you this is because they may have the coldest air since 2016 dropping southwest, kind of southeastwards into the region as we go into early next week here. And to me, this kind of tells me that there is things going on. There's potential changes taking place in the upper atmosphere because, of course, we had such a warm December over the lower 48, but we're now starting to see the cold air from Canada kind of start to drop southeastwards here. We've seen temperatures of 20 below zero Fahrenheit in Minneapolis. We've seen the first sub-zero morning in Chicago, for example. And it looks as if we're starting to see colder air getting drawn into the middle latitude pattern. That, of course, doesn't necessarily suggest that we're going to see or guaranteed any kind of major cold for Europe at this moment in time. But to me, it just tells me that we're starting to see changes taking place. And, obviously in recent videos, I've been showing you the transport of, and this could be the reason actually why we're seeing this, is of course the transport of Siberian origin air crossing over the top of the pole and feeding into North America. And I think this could be linked to that we're seeing the jet stream actually and the kind of lobe of warmer air moving up into the Arctic region has allowed that kind of little bit of a bleed of Siberian air into the North American pattern. And downstream, we're seeing the response to that. Now, that all being said, we are going to see a warm-up taking place over the next several days here across the northeastern half of the country. Temperatures are going to come back up. These, by the way, are the GFS 850 temperatures. And you can see here the much, much milder air getting pushed up into the northeastern half of the country. So it encompasses the region, DC, Philadelphia, New York, up to Boston here. But notice here at the very top left-hand corner of the chart, some very, very cold air indeed. Pure Arctic air, possibly seeded by a little bit of Siberia as well, is on the chart here. So this is, of course, 12 o'clock UTC time on Sunday. And as we press through the loop, there is a clear indication that this pure Arctic air is going to drop into the region here. And it looks as if Monday and then the Tuesday in particular, we could see temperatures at 850 of minus 22 over New York City. So that isotherm of minus 22 drops below New York City here. And of course, when you factor in wind, all the different aspects, that could correlate to surface temperatures or 2-meter temperatures in well into the low single figures in terms of Fahrenheit. So we could be talking about minus 15, minus 16 Celsius in Central Park come Tuesday morning here. And that is certainly going to be pretty interesting to see here. So like I say, 850 millibars, we're seeing those temperatures well below 0 Fahrenheit. So that's going to be interesting to see. I also want to show you in tonight's video here, it's going to be a pretty short video actually, but I want to show you the contrast for Europe here, CFSv2 versus the GFS ensemble. Now this is the upcoming period here. This is the new CFSv2 run for Europe here. And, you know, if you looked at this and actually believed it, and, you know, at the end of the day, it's very possible that it could be true. It certainly would not be a good picture indeed. Now, even this here, even the upcoming 7 day period is very, very suspect looking. Look at how warm all of Europe is. So realistically speaking, you could look at this and go, that doesn't actually make sense. And quite honestly, it doesn't really. To an extent. Of course, we've got high pressure seen by the models that is going to build northwards into the early portion of next week here. So while we've got on the eastern side of North America, bless you, we've got a wave of very, very cold air getting driven into the northeastern half of the country of the United States. We're seeing high pressure from the Azores on the opposite side of the Atlantic lifting north here. That also does not suggest that it's going to be a particularly warm area of high pressure, because of course these areas of high pressure in the middle portion of the winter can be very deceiving. Fog, cloud cover, frost by night time if you get clear skies. Sometimes it can allow cold air to get trapped at the surface. So there's so many different variables to take into account here when it comes to that. But certainly polar air coming down into the northeastern half of the United States on the other side of the Atlantic versus this side of the Atlantic, we're going to see high pressure building north into the British Isles here. So I think that is pretty clear by the models here. But the CFSv2, 2 meter temperature anomalies, upcoming 7 days, blowtorch, basically, unless you live in Italy. Week 2, you can see here, warm across the British Isles, Chile, France, Spain, Portugal, and then very, very warm over the eastern half of Europe here. Now, in a sense, that doesn't make sense, because if you've got a blowtorch over the eastern half of Europe, you would tend to expect colder and more trophiness over the western side of the continent here. So that doesn't make sense in all honesty. But then again, you get into week 3, 22nd through the 29th of January. Again, warmer than normal right across Europe. The following week takes us into the first week of February, warmer than normal as well. To me, the CFSv2 is talking nonsense here. Hopefully, but I just can't. You can't really buy that. You can't really believe that. In all honesty, this is the ECMWF. Or sorry, I beg your pardon. The GFS ensemble. There wouldn't be a Vogan's European Outlook without some sort of screw up, would there? Upcoming 5 days, a little bit cooler than normal across Scotland, a little bit warmer than normal across parts of England and Wales, colder than normal across Eastern Europe. Completely different to what the CFSv2 is saying. As we go into the 6 to 10 day period, you can see that the UK is going colder than normal. And the 7 to 11, you can see it colder than normal as well here. Why would that be the case? Well, it's indicating, if we look at the 500 millibar height anomaly chart here for the 5 day increments, and keep in mind this is the 5 day mean. You can see here upcoming 5 day period, ridge extending from the Atlantic up into Scandinavia. Yeah, that makes sense because there is pretty good cross model agreement of that. Then as we go into the 6 to 10 day period, that very ridge starts to kind of build westwards over the Atlantic here. And of course that in turn would open the door to something colder from at least the north here. The 7 to 11, you can see here as well that we've got the ridge of high pressure to the west of the UK. In essence, what this suggests at the very least is it starts to shut down the Atlantic, and that is something that we need to see as we go through the second half of January. And there is some pretty decent agreement in the overall model package of a cooling trend during the second half of January. Keep in mind, folks, we are only on the 8th of January. There is still half of winter to go, and I don't think there is any reason to throw in the towel whatsoever in terms of this winter. And let's face it, you get, say for argument's sake, the period between January 20th and February 10th of major cold. This winter would be remembered for being, a pretty decent winter. But at this moment in time, we've got people who have already written off winter, and you really can't do that until we start to get into the month of February. If we get through the month of January and there is literally no kind of cold or snow, and let's face it, we've already had that. Yeah, southern portion of the UK, it's not been much of a winter. I get that. But we've had snow, we've had modest cold, so let's just wait and see what happens as we go forward here. But certainly interesting as we go forward. Of course, keep it here on YouTube, markvoganweather.com. If you did enjoy the video, please like and, of course, share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep you posted with the very latest weather. Hope you have a great evening, and I'll hopefully be back again tomorrow with more. Bye for now.